So circadian rings, the paper stitcher. And to explain, a paper stitcher is someone, you know your guest checks at a restaurant and the staple at the top? There is a person whose job it is to staple that, and that person is called the paper stitcher, and that's all they do all day. Circadian rings. Along the C&O Canal, trees entwined, soft woods, hard gravel, humid air. She takes her husband in her arms, thickened with age. Hair white, shoes practical, legs swollen from standing 34 years, her life a patchwork of stapling together and thoughtless motions, and memories yellowed like parchment, fragile, charming. In her arms, round his waist, she leads, slow waltz, bodies comfortable, pressed close, breath sweet, cheek to chin. Song silent, Zydeco, quarter-time souvenir. Somewhere deep in her skin, among the complicated pleasures of nature, in her arms, on her lark, amid trees and dirt, they shift and shuffle, find peace and pulse to the perfume of honeysuckle and the pitch of 17 years cicadas, mating and falling. And a couple guys. So the fishmonger. His hands, his young plump hands with their rheumatism and layers of muscle and fat. With these hands he cuts smooth into the magenta meat of tuna freshly caught, the odor more subtle, more sea at this hour. He still notices the feel of lifting skin from flesh, bone from belly, one stroke into the tender. His fingers, already swollen from ice and knives, hooks and weights, fingers his mother would lament were created for strings, for violins once, delicate, nimble, soft. With these fingers he follows his father into a brotherhood of scales and solitary spousals, of early hours and early graves, and in the slumber of the city, under the gray rose canopy of a rising sun, among the carcasses, feeling disconnected and alive, knife in hand, he wipes his brow. So, knife sharpener. And it starts with a quote from Ma Rainey, who was a blues artist from the early part of the last century. And it's from Black Dust Blues, which describes the use of gopher dust. And it's a mixture of dirt and sulfur and other ingredients that are used to demobilize or kill your enemy. The knife sharpener. Black dust in my window, black dust on my porch mat. Black dust's got me walking on all fours like a cat. Warm as steel, she wash his chair back, stroke his hair. Slow as silver, he scrub his hands, dig under nails. Wear a mask like the Janes, iron ground dust. Wear a cap, spark and singe, stone-cut rain, stone-cut rain. Warm as steel, he wanna fly a kite, breathe air clean. Slow as silver, he sense a building fall, know a metal burn. Grieve a friend, dusk on skin, wear a mask, like the Janes. Sweet water, he drink cold, grind saw teeth, grind shears. Dust, black as eyes of a woman he never knew. Warm as steel, she washes chair back, stroke his hair. Fluffing. The food stylist. So brazen her work, on billboards and benches, in menus and magazines. She would blush soft, hide in hair, and smile, like when adolescent she heard a joke she knew, but didn't know was naughty, told by a boy she knew, but didn't know was sexy. Her raspberries, red, ripe, waiting, juice-filled, hair trimmed, sugar water primed. Her cream, froth, thick, aching for a finger to be dipped into the milk-white dome. Under her tutelage, scallops and angel hair, cashews and curries became a mix of primal needs, the consumed consummate, the daily bread desired. Alone she took in plums, cold, succulent, and knew, but didn't know, that in her world, on her plate, looks would always trump taste. I should be missing something. Outside Tulane. A man with polite distance and reserved concern, he has rescued women from 6th Street before, welcomes me into the room, pungent smoke of sesame oil and vinegar rising above the grease-stained stove. The odor could be of coconut and ginger, fish and basil. Instead, smoke hangs and circulates, like the former superstar pimps outside trying to score some fill in the blank, but settling for a languorous looks at the new legs. Young, on the corner, is she hawking? Is she waiting? Is she packing? Maybe they remember when cars big as bars and suits with attitude and animal fur meant respect, meant community. Maybe they long for the day before the sex industry shakes, swing, grind that thing, baby, but don't put out, sweet goddess of tease, make me beg and grovel and know that this is somehow better, somehow deconstructible, somehow cleaner, smarter, less humiliating than blowing in anonymity. Became the way hip women, tattooed and gender studied, made money to pay for their programming classes. Maybe they just want to chat with a girl who isn't cranked up, junked out, and who doesn't know their evils or their goods. How long have you been waiting? He knows the answer. They know the answer. I was the only woman on the street as sun sets. I alone am wearing a short skirt to woo one man, not the masses. I have been waiting longer than I ever thought I would for a man I hardly know to enter me, this place, my rhythms, to eat gingered bean curd and curried noodles, to graze against my knee intentionally and rescue me from thought. Thank you.